Come on up then. You can do it, buddy. Come on up. Come on, up. You can do it. But he won't bring the back end up. Come on, up. Like, I have to pick him up. This is bullshit. Come on. You can do it, buddy. Come on. Ugh. Come on, dude. You're heavy. And you couldn't have did that on your own. You gotta sit there and whine for like 10 minutes until Dad picks you up. Go, buddy. You have a bath too. Now you're nice and clean. We're still adventuring around Lillooet BC, and I made some videos here last summer and you heard me say that this is one of my favorite areas to explore, and today it still is. Just look over there. Look. It doesn't even look real. It looks like I'm standing in front of a picture-perfect green screen, but it's not. That's the town of Lillooet back there, and let me show you guys where I've slept the last 2 nights in a row. Such a beautiful area, but the view of Lillooet from here is just beyond breathtaking. Wow. This valley is so beautiful. We're parked back down on the riverbed that we were looking at from way over there. And I thought today we would sit here and talk about something and say something I've never spoken ever on this channel. I want to talk to you guys about solar. So for 2 solid years, I was like, foot down, middle finger up to the solar, saying, forget it. Forget solar, especially if you're starting out. Well, let me tell you something. I've learned something in the last week that kind of rocked my world a little bit. I finally understand the need for solar for some people. Let me walk you through my setup real quick. On top of my roof, I have 3 100, do you mind, flag? Do you mind? I have 3 100 watt Renogy solar panels mounted up here. It's a little bit hard to get up here to clean them because I don't have a ladder or anything yet, so I've just been standing up above the back doors just to give these things a bit of a wipe down. But I seriously think 300 watts of solar is enough for what I'm doing in my van life. Inside of here, I have a solar charge controller, and inside of this controller also does DC to DC charge controlling. So when I'm driving my van, it charges from the alternator all in this all in one little unit. I also have a 700 watt Renogy inverter. My solar setup is very simple, kind of a plug and play system. Once it's installed, all you really have to do is keep cleaning the solar panels to make sure that there's no dirt or anything that's obstructing the sun rays from actually hitting that solar cell. Other than that, I chose a very simple plug and play, which is my kind of setup. So I've had to not think about my solar at all since it's gone in. But I need to tell you a true story, and where in this story my decision or my thought or opinions on solar completely changed. So I got my solar panels put in about 2 months ago. And ever since they've been put in, my solar panels haven't had to work at all. I have 300 watts up there, and guess how much that they've put into the battery? I'm gonna guess probably 0%, maybe 1%. Okay, I'm gonna be generous and say that those solar panels have provided 2% of the power in my van. Why? Because I drive so much in my van life that my alternator charging has been keeping my deep cycle in my van charged. So this is how I lived my van life for the first couple years of it. I had a isolator, which was connected to my deep cycle battery. That way, every time I drove, it just kept it topped up. Now that I have this solar set up, I have my solar, plus that charge controller gives me the chance to charge from the alternator as well. But I drive so much that every time I shut my ignition off, my battery is already full. And even if I go to deplete that battery a little bit, editing some videos, by the time I take off and go film another couple of places, my battery's always full because I keep moving on a constant basis. I'm an adventurous kind of guy like that, so sitting still was never my thing. And it wasn't until, no kidding, yesterday that I realized, wow, am I ever glad that I have solar on the roof of my van. That second green light there yesterday was showing me green, just like it is today, telling me that my batteries are charged. And the next one over there was on a solid red, saying it was pulling in power from outside, and this little far light over there that's not on was flashing slowly. And I went and grabbed my manual. I'm like, why is that one flashing? Because when I start my van, this alternator charging battery turns on, letting me know that it's sending power from the alternator back here. Well, that was flashing yesterday when my van was sitting still. So I was charging my laptop. I had the fan running behind me because it just feels nice sometimes when I'm editing videos. And that little light was flashing, telling me that the starter battery had dropped down a little bit of power, and it was sending power from my solar back to my starting battery to make sure that it was full. So when I was done here at this spot, I wouldn't have a dead battery before I left, making this little awesome charge controller just like a dream. Just the thought that it was maintaining my starter battery at the same time as maintaining my house battery while keeping the battery in my laptop charged was just a cool experience for me. I'm pretty sure as this van life journey progresses forward with me, and the more and more I slow my lifestyle down and enjoy my off-grid places for a couple of days, I think I'm going to start seeing more and more benefits of having a complete solar system inside of my van. Because honestly, now that I've got those panels up on my roof, I feel like this is a fully equipped, self-contained, off-grid home. And I don't have to drive to keep topped up. See, before I always drove all the time because it kept my batteries topped. And there was times and days before when I would start my van on a nice summer day. I would start my van because I was like 3 hours into editing and my deep cycle battery was getting low. And I think when I have days like that in my lifestyle now, having this thing keep my batteries topped up is where I'm really seriously going to feel the excitement about adding a solar package to my van. How you doing, CRUZ? It's a great place, isn't it? Huh? I'll never go back on what I said in that video that I made a year and a half ago, that you don't need solar to start your van life. I seriously, honestly believe that you guys can start your van life without it, because that is a major chunk and expense that for some people will stop them from ever getting into the van. I think if you add these things as money permits you to add these things, because not everybody gets into van life with all the money to put $5,000 into everything that they need to get rocking and get rolling. But I think when you first start out, I think the first things you may need to add to your van when the time comes that you feel like you need to add more power is a DC to DC charge controller and a deep cycle battery and an inverter if you need to plug in anything. Unless everything's running on 12 volt, then all you need is the deep cycle battery and the DC to DC charge controller and a switch panel to turn on all of your lights. I think when you start, you can start off with something simple like that and then slowly add to your system from that point forward. Because for some people getting into this lifestyle, it's about starting cheap with the necessities that you need in order to continue living for the next month or the next 2 months. And as things get better for you, you can start adding a solar panel and a charge controller and then a bigger inverter if you need one. But I think in van life, you could piece together what you do need. Take a look at my van now. If you guys are just getting on this channel in the last couple of months and this is the van you've seen, please go back. I have a playlist called Binge Watch It All, or even just skip back and watch some of my earlier videos and see the van that I lived in for the first year of my van life. Until money got better for me and I got the chance to add more and more things, making my van more and more functional. And just right now, a badass lifted off-grid home with everything, including fully equipped solar. I got a badass van build from Happy Camper Kits. Andy, I'm wearing your shirt right now. Happy Camper Kits. What, buddy? But it takes time to build that dream van of yours. Because I know when I first started my van life, I wanted so many things. You guys hear me okay? I'll go back here, the wind's it's getting windy. So many things I wanted when I first started. But in due time, you can start adding those things to your van as van life lets you have those things. Because once you stop paying rent, you can start to be able to afford things like roof racks or a second garbage can, or going over to see friends in Ontario and getting yourself a fully complete, oh, my van build is insane, a full complete professional van build. Build your van how you want to build it. But I just wanted to make this video about solar because I needed to let you guys know that I've changed my opinion on it. Kind of crazy that it took me about 2 months of having this whole solar package in my van before I finally was like, oh, okay, thankfully I have it. So yeah, just to recap on this, guys, if you are driving a lot and you continually move your van about 2 hours every single day, having solar might not be a necessity for you guys. Alternator charging, a definite must. Getting a deep cycle battery is just super cheap and affordable. If you don't want to wire things up, get a portable battery or something like that just to get you guys started. But powering your van is not as complex as everybody out there makes it. And take a look at this. 2.5 years of living in my van, and I feel like I'm living in damn paradise. All right, you guys, hopefully this eased your pressure up when it comes to solar stuff. Because Renogy did sponsor me with my solar package. They also gave me a discount code for you guys. That'll be in the description down there too if anybody's interested in snooping over there. I think it gives you guys 10% off. Hey, who doesn't like a deal, right? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching today, and we're gonna go enjoy this beautiful area again. I think I'm gonna stay in this spot right now again. This would be 3 days in one spot. The last time I think I ever stayed in one spot for more than a day was at my friend Madison Rainer's place, Ray Outfitted in Ontario. I think I was there for 5 days. That was a bit different because we were around people. Here, it's just me and my little homie who's roaming around there doing whatever he's doing. Can't believe I made this video. Weird thing to say, but I seriously can't believe I made this video saying, hey, I think Chrome approves of putting solar on your roof. What? Thanks, guys. See you.